Hey, internet bestie. So you want to learn all the things about menstrual cups so that you can have a more comfortable leak-free period. I got you. In this video, I'm going to be diving into everything there is to know about menstrual cups, from some of the more basic things like what is a menstrual cup and how does it work, to the more advanced techniques of the hacks and tips and tricks for inserting and removing and creating a leak-free seal to ensure that you have your best period. As you can see on the screen, these are all the topics we're going to be covering and in what order. As the title states, this is a comprehensive menstrual cup training, and while I recommend you watching it full to get all the benefits and to ensure you don't miss any of the must-know menstrual cup information sprinkled throughout the video, you can also skip around to the various chapters if you must. I'll have all the timestamps below in case you want to do that. But one thing is for sure, you're not going to need another menstrual cup training, because by the end of this video, you're going to be so well versed on all things menstrual cups that you're going to be able to confidently buy and use any menstrual cup without any hesitation or questions. Let's dive in. So what is a menstrual cup? Let's start there. A menstrual cup is a reusable period product that's actually classified as a medical device in most countries that collects rather than absorbs your menstrual flow. And it does that with a small little shot glass looking thing with a stem, aka a menstrual cup, or as many people call it, a period cup. And while most menstrual cups on the market tend to be made out of medical grade silicone, there are some that are made out of TPE and even some that are made out of natural rubber. Now, menstrual cups come in all different shapes and sizes and colors, and we will dive into exactly how to choose the right one for you in a little bit. But first, let's dive into how you use a menstrual cup. So I just shared with you that a menstrual cup collects rather than absorbs your menstrual blood. Now I want to show exactly how it does that. So your menstrual cup works by sitting inside the vagina, suctioning onto the vaginal walls just underneath the cervix. And what happens is the menstrual blood flows from the uterus through the cervix at the end and into your cup. That is how it collects it. And if your menstrual cup is the right fit and it's properly positioned, it is likely to be uber comfortable. In fact, most people forget it's even there until it's time for them to change it. So at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, sis, well, show me how to insert my menstrual cup so I can have that level of comfort. I got you. Inserting a menstrual cup can be done in 4 simple steps. And the first step is to ensure that you've thoroughly washed your hands. Step 2 is to fold your menstrual cup. And I'll be showing you in a short bit the multiple menstrual cup folds that you can try. Now let's move on to step 3. Step 3, once you fold your menstrual cup, would be to insert that menstrual cup, pointing it towards your spine. What many people don't realize is that the vaginal canal doesn't go straight up and down. It's similar to this. It's slanted. So you see it going towards the spine. So if you remember that as you're putting in your cup, you point towards your spine, it just makes for an easier glide. Step 4 is to release that fold and let it pop open. Did you hear that pop? And when it's fully open, it'll look like this inside. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how to make sure that the cup opens fully and how to prevent leaks to ensure you don't have stained bed sheets and stained clothing. I got you covered, but first I want to show you those menstrual cup folds. There are so many menstrual cup folds out there, and I feel like every day someone's creating a new wild one. I'm going to be showing you my absolute favorite ones, along with some that I know our customers use that work really well. And the first one is the C fold, or sometimes called the U fold, and that looks exactly as it sounds. What you do is pinch the cup in half and then turn it to make a C, like so. And the reason it's called a U fold as well is because it can go from a C to a U really fast if you just turn it. Now this next fold is my absolute favorite, and that is the push down fold, also known as the punch down fold, which goes exactly as it sounds. You put your finger on the edge of the cup and you push it down, and then you squeeze it, and that's what allows the smaller entry point for inserting your cup. Now let me show you that again. You'll push down on the side and squeeze together like so. And then you can insert your cup. This next menstrual cup fold has a bunch of names. I call it the labia fold. It's also been known as the M fold or the E fold or the squiggle fold. So let me slowly go through this one. For this one, what you're gonna do is pinch the top and push it down. And that gives you that squiggly line. Now let me show you that a little slower. You wanna pinch the rim and push into the other half of the cup. So what you get is a cup that looks like a labia or an E or an M, depending on how you're holding it. Can you focus for me? Camera, can you do something for me? There we go. Now it's focused. There we go. That's what it looks like. The great thing about the labia fold, while it is more advanced than the C or the push down fold, so it does take a little practice, it actually makes it quite thin, almost a tampon-like size, which is really great for beginners. It also pops open relatively easy too. The next fold is called the 7 fold, and it's really simple. You will pinch both sides and then push one side down, and it makes the number 7. Now, will this be backwards on your side? I'm not sure, so I'm going to do it the opposite way as well. So you could pinch and then push it down and make a 7 that way as well. Whichever way you turn it, it really doesn't matter. It's a circle at the top, right? So it's going to work either way. You also have the S fold, which works really well as well. And that one requires you to pinch both ends and just manipulate it to make it an S. And as you can see, it makes an S shape, of course. Okay, now that you're well versed on the many ways you can fill your cup, let's get into how to prevent leaks with your menstrual cup. Menstrual cup leaks can happen for a number of reasons. So in this section of the menstrual cup tutorial, I want to teach you how to troubleshoot those menstrual cup leaks and how to fix them. The number one reason for menstrual cup leaks is that the cup is not fully opened. And that could mean it's pushed down slightly at the rim like this, which you can see can create issues that allow blood to trickle on the side because the cup isn't fully open to catch what's coming out of the cervix. The other reason is if the cup never fully opened from when you folded it. So the solution to this is to insert a clean finger into your vagina and carefully feel around the rim to ensure that there aren't any dips in the rim. Or my favorite solution, which is gently pressing against the vaginal walls on all the sides to allow just a little bit more space so that your cup can open fully. Another reason your menstrual cup may be leaking is if it's just not the right fit or size for you. As you may know, many brands come in multiple sizes, and the sizing differentiation is usually located on the box or on their website when you go to buy. However, if you're still confused about sizing and which one's right for you, we're going to get into that a little later in this video as well. Something else that may cause a leaking period cup is the cup's position to your cervix. A cup should always be positioned directly underneath your cervix. It doesn't have to be right up on your cervix, but it should never be beyond your cervix going past it. That could create leaks. And this is especially true in the case of having a tilted cervix. And while a tilted cervix may sound odd, it is nothing to worry about, and it's actually pretty common. In fact, it's estimated that 1 in 5 people that have a uterus actually have a tilted cervix. Tilted cervixes can be either anteverted or retroverted, meaning it either points down towards the spine or points back towards the belly button. The great thing about using a menstrual cup is that you get so much more in tune with your body, and when you feel for your cervix as you're inserting the menstrual cup or before you insert the menstrual cup, you may realize that it's not where you thought it was. So when you feel for your cervix, which is at the top of your vagina, and it feels like the tip of your nose, you'll learn where its position is. And the key in all of this is because you want to position the menstrual cup underneath the cervix so that you can collect your flow as it comes out into the cup. Having your menstrual cup properly positioned underneath your cervix prevents leaks. Another reason your menstrual cup may be leaking is if those little small pin-sized holes at the very top of your menstrual cup are clogged, because they actually help with the suctioning of your cup. So if you find that they are clogged or there's a little bit of grime inside of there, you're going to want to make sure you clean that out. And you may just figure that little small move helps to prevent your menstrual cup leaks. Now, once you're done your troubleshooting and you've taken a look and done all the things we've talked about, your next step is to do a really light tug test. The key here is not to pull your cup ever without releasing the suction. What you want to do is just gently tug on the stem. Like, not even tug, you're just like moving it around softly, because what you want to see is if the cup moves up or down. If it does shift up slightly higher, or you find that it's coming down a bit, then it isn't sealed. So what you'd want to do is turn it in a full 360, turn it all the way around, which helps you know that your cup's open, and then you want to push it up a bit more to position and then do that little tug again. If you do that gentle tug and it does not move, you're good. In any instance, if you are a cup newbie and you're just learning to create a leak-free seal, I always recommend that you wear a pad for those first couple tries. It just helps you feel more confident and comfortable as you go throughout your day or you're sleeping throughout the night, knowing that should you not have gotten it right the first or second or third time, that you're still protected. Because here's the deal, using a menstrual cup can have a bit of a learning curve. You may not get it on the first try, and that's okay. It's worth taking the time and figuring it out. You have about 400 plus periods in your lifetime. Taking one or two to figure out how to properly use a menstrual cup is worth it. And you specifically have a leg up because you're watching this training, which means you're getting all the information that most people do not have, which is going to shorten that learning curve or eliminate it completely for you. Okay, so now that you know how to insert your menstrual cup and create a leak-free seal, I want to teach you how to properly remove it. So step one for removing your menstrual cup, you want to feel for your menstrual cup, and when you do feel it, you want to push on it somewhere or pinch at the base to release that suction. That is step one, and it's super important. You never, ever, ever, ever tug on your menstrual cup when it's still sealed. Two, once you've pinched the base of the cup, you want to slowly bring the cup down, keeping it upright. And what this does is just ensure that you don't spill the blood all over the place. Three, you can then dump it out in the toilet, clean it up, and reinsert. There's no need to reboil your cup during the week of your period. You'd only need to do that at the start of each cycle before you begin using it. Now, with that in mind, let's get into cleaning your menstrual cup. Your personal hygiene is really important, especially during the time of your period and when inserting and removing period products. So the first thing you're going to want to always ensure you do is cleaning your hands, making sure they're thoroughly cleaned before inserting or removing your menstrual cup or a menstrual disc or a tampon for that matter. But that's not what this section's about. This section is all about how to clean your menstrual cup. So let's go into that. Prior to using your menstrual cup for the first time and before the start of each cycle, you want to make sure your cup is properly clean. And you do that by putting your menstrual cup in boiling water no longer than 5 minutes, or as instructed in your menstrual cup instruction manual. And now boiling isn't your only option. There are menstrual cup sterilizers that are out there that work very similar to baby bottle sterilizers. Most people boil theirs though. And while you don't need to boil your menstrual cup each time you empty it during the week of your period, it is important to keep your cup clean. Remember to remove any debris that gets into the small little holes at the top of your menstrual cup. Washing thoroughly with water and a mild scent-free soap and rinsing it off completely before you reinsert can prevent irritation. Now, the reason I said not to boil it longer than 5 minutes, most brands recommend 2 to 5 minutes to boil your cup, is because if you boil it for too long, you can actually jeopardize the integrity of the silicone. The silicone could get softer, which would mean it would fit differently for your body. And I mean, if you keep it in for too long, you can actually burn your cup.
Received a text from a friend who left her cup boiling for over 40 minutes and melted it. I asked her if she still had it so I can see, and she sent this.
Nah, fam, she's still here. She's still here. It looks like a fried egg.
And I actually have a little hack for you when you're boiling your menstrual cup. So let's get into menstrual cup tips and tricks and hacks next. We've covered a lot up until this point. And before we get into the benefits of a menstrual cup and how to sleep in one and using it in a public restroom and finding the perfect fit for you and all of that jazz, I wanted to share a few simple hacks. But first, if you found this video helpful up until this point or you're excited to learn some menstrual cup hacks, make sure you give this video a thumbs up because it really does help other people like you find and benefit from the video. It doesn't just help our channel, it's helping the world. We want to help people have better periods. Period. And part of having better periods is finding little ways that just make using a menstrual cup easier. And that's where these menstrual cup hacks come in. I really want to help make the journey easier for you by sharing a few simple hacks. The first menstrual cup hack is if you're new to using menstrual cups or you're just finding it difficult to relax and insert the cup properly, I really recommend that you try to put it in the shower. And the reason for this is because the warm water not only relaxes your muscles, which makes it easier for you to put the cup in, but it's also the additional lubrication of the shower. And so many people find it much easier to do it this way. And now this next hack is the one I was talking about for that last section when it comes to boiling your cup. And that is placing your menstrual cup inside of a whisk. Now what that does is prevent your cup from hitting the bottom of the pot and melting if it's been left for too long. And another thing I find really helpful, earlier we talked about having those little holes at the top of your cup just below the rim clogged. One thing that can be super helpful for that is to fill your cup with water in the sink, put your hand on the top of it, turn it upside down like this, and then squeeze the cup. So as you can see, I put some water in the cup. So you'd put it in the sink, run some water in there. You then put your hand over it, turn it around, and squeeze. The pressure forces the water that you just put in the cup to come through the holes, and anything that's trapped in there will come out easily. Another hack for you, if you feel that your menstrual cup is a bit too long, you always have the option with a silicone cup to trim the stem off completely. You also have the option of pushing the menstrual cup from the bottom and turning it inside out like so. So you just literally just push the bottom like you saw me do just now, and then ta-da! It's inside out and no stem. Well, the stem is there. It's on the inside if you don't cut it. It makes the cup slightly shorter just to make it easier for you, especially if you have a lower cervix. So at this point, you may be wondering if using a menstrual cup is even worth the hassle. And let me assure you that it's 1000% worth it. In fact, the things we talked about earlier in this video, it becomes second nature and you're able to insert and remove super fast because you've done it a million times before. You're also able to quickly troubleshoot because you know what to look for. But to put your mind at ease, let's get into some of the benefits of using a menstrual cup. There are so many reasons I'm pro menstrual cup. For one, they're reusable, right? Which means they're super cost effective because you aren't spending money on a monthly basis on one-time use period products. It's estimated that you'll spend around $5,000 on one-time use menstrual products in your lifetime. And the thing is, menstrual cups can last years. If properly taken care of, they can last between 5 to 10 years, which means you're saving a whole lot of money. More coins for you. Aside from the cost savings, it's also better for your body as it's without the harsh hormone-altering chemicals and fragrance that's in many cotton one-time use products as well. Menstrual cups also maintain your body's pH. They don't cause dryness or irritation down there or create micro tears like many tampons can if the absorbency does not match the flow. Outside of the cost savings and body benefits, menstrual cups also have higher capacity than pads and tampons. In fact, I'm holding right here our best period menstrual cup size 2, which holds 40 milliliters, which is 8 times the capacity of a regular pad or tampon. Menstrual cups are also super comfortable and can be worn safely for longer than tampons. You can safely wear a menstrual cup for up to 12 hours at a time. Okay, now I hope those benefits were enough to convince you of just how great menstrual cups are. Let's get into sleeping with a menstrual cup in. One question many people have is, can you sleep in a menstrual cup? And the answer is a resounding yes. Not only can you sleep in a menstrual cup, you can exercise in a menstrual cup, you can dance in a menstrual cup, you can twerk in a menstrual cup, you can swing upside down in a hammock and run on the roof in a menstrual cup, though I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. And you can also urinate as well as poop with a menstrual cup in. But back to sleeping. Because menstrual cups can be worn longer and they have a higher capacity, they're actually a perfect fit for you sleeping in. You're of course going to want to ensure that you're following the suggestions provided earlier about creating a leak-free seal so that you can have a leak-free sleep with a menstrual cup in. And remember, if you are new to this, just wear a pad with it so that you can feel more comfortable and confident as you're learning to create that leak-free seal. Now that we've covered sleep, let's get into using a menstrual cup in a public restroom. If you have a super heavy flow, or you're working a long shift at work, or maybe you're out camping, or you've simply just had your cup in a little bit long and it's time to change it, you may find yourself needing to change your menstrual cup when you're not at home, or when a sink's just not readily available to clean it off. Don't you worry, not only is it possible to do this, it's also quite easy. First thing you're going to want to do is wash your hands at the public sink before heading into the stall. You then have a few options. You can grab some paper towel that's there and dampen it and take it with you into the stall to use that to wipe off your cup before reinserting. Or you can bring a water bottle with you in your purse or wherever to wash off the cup before reinserting. Or you can buy menstrual cup wipes. You have some options here. So you'd remove your cup as normal, keeping it upright, dump it into the toilet as normal, but then that next step will have you either wiping it off with that damp paper towel you grabbed, or rinsing it off with that bottle of water, or using a menstrual cup wipe before folding it back up and reinserting inside. Not too bad, right? I didn't think so. Now let's dive into selecting the right menstrual cup size as well as exploring all of your options. Earlier in this video, I mentioned that menstrual cups come in a variety of sizes and colors and shapes. In this section of the menstrual cup training, I really want to demystify all of that for you so that it's clear once and for all. Most brands have two sizes. You have your smaller size, usually called a size 1 or a size A, and then they have their larger size, usually called a size 2 or a size B. The smaller size tends to be for those who are younger, and the age that's typically the cutoff is around age 30. So 29 and under, the smaller size is usually recommended, or for those who have never given birth. And the larger size, which is size 2, B, or large, tends to be for those who are a little older, usually age 30 and above, and those who've given birth. And you'd also see them refer to flow when they're talking about their cups. So the smaller size they usually say is for a light or medium flow, and the larger size tends to be for those with heavier flows. Now the nuance here comes when you're able to tick boxes in multiple categories. Maybe you're under the age of 30, but you've given birth. Which one do you choose? And this is where it's important to read the brand you're purchasing specific recommendations on their box or on their website, or you could take a menstrual cup quiz like we have on our website. That really just makes it super easy for you. And if you'd like to take that quiz, I'll put the link below in the description. Now you also have specialty sizes for cups. You have some cups that are made for teens, which are usually called teen or size 0, as well as cups that may be stemless that are made for those who have a lower cervix. And the sizing isn't just about the capacity, how much the cup can hold. It's also about the length. Like if you're looking at this, our size 1 is actually shorter than our size 2. And there's also the diameter to consider. Like our size 1 is actually smaller in diameter than our size 2. It can fit inside of it, like so. So smaller cups do tend to be shorter and bigger cups tend to be longer. And then there are some cups that are just super long when you're looking at like your Intimina cups that are great for people who have really high cervixes. And it's not just the sizing on the box that matters though, it's the length that matters as well. For instance, if you have a high cervix and you're getting a shorter cup, then it may be difficult to grab. Or if you're getting a longer, bigger cup and you have a shorter cervix, it may be uncomfortable. So it's important to know your cervix. That way, if you do realize you have a higher cervix, you're going to look for a cup that is longer, that has a stem that's easy to grip to remove it. And now you know I won't leave you hanging, so let's talk about how you measure your cervix. You're going to want to insert a clean finger inside of the vagina and feel for the cervix at the tip of the vagina. And again, it feels like the tip of your nose and it's at the top of the vagina. Now, if your entire finger can go in and you can't feel it, or maybe you have to put the whole finger in before you can feel it, then you have what is considered a high cervix. If you feel the cervix, as soon as you put your finger in and it's not even halfway there yet, then you have what's considered a lower cervix. If you could put your finger in and just about halfway and just a little past half, then that's considered a regular to normal cervix. But the thing is, your cervix actually moves throughout your cycle. So in order to get the most accurate reading for what's going to be the best menstrual cup fit for you, you're going to want to do this during your period because your cervix is actually at its lowest when your period's on and just after your period. And it's at its highest during ovulation. And if you find you have a higher cervix, you're going to want to get a longer cup or a cup with a longer stem. If you find you have a short cervix, then you may want to find a cup that's made specifically for short cervixes, or you get a smaller size cup that isn't as long, or you can do what we mentioned earlier, which is cutting off the stem or turning your cup you currently have inside out to see if that works better for you. And there are some great resources out there like Put a Cup in It, as well as Period Nirvana, that have charts on their website that compare and contrast multiple menstrual cups by size, by length, by capacity, and all the things. So those are some great resources to check out if you want to dive into this topic particularly even more. And talking about comparisons, as you can imagine, there are a lot. There are so many menstrual cups out there and new ones coming out all the time. Listing them all would be pretty impossible. It'll be like making a list of every t-shirt brand that has a white t-shirt. Like, maybe it won't be that bad, but you get the point. It's a lot out there. What I want to equip you with in this section is the know-how to make the right choice for you and your body so that your menstrual cup is the best, period. Aside from our best period cup, which I believe to be superior for a host of reasons, because it has higher capacity, comes with a cute hygienic carrying case, is USA made, is super comfortable, built to have easier insertion and removal with its custom base and stem, gynecologist recommended, and so many other things. Aside from all of that, I'm not biased at all. You have some other options out there as well. Some popular brands are Diva Cup and Hello Cup and Flex Cup and Intimina and so many others. I of course will link to our best period menstrual cup, which comes with the cute case, and we also sell the case separately if you have another menstrual cup. I'll of course link to that below in the description. And because you've watched through to the end, you get an exclusive code. Use Internet Bestie for 15% off at checkout. Now, you may have learned everything you need to know about menstrual cups in this video, but do you know everything about your period? Do you know that not all common period symptoms are normal? I invite you to watch this video next, which dives into all the common period symptoms that are not normal and what you can do about it. We'll chat next time. Bye-bye.